Today, I want to share with you some practical tips for keeping God in the center of your business. You know, God does not make a distinction between the secular and the sacred. The Hebrew word avodah actually is the same root word for work and for worship. And what this means is that God sees our everyday work and life as worship or not. So only about 10% or less of the church is actually going to be in ministry, behind the pulpits and all that. And what that means is that the rest 90% of us are actually expected to be like the church in the marketplace or wherever we find our own vocations. So the first principle I want to share with you today is this. You are the Christian, not your business. What do I mean by this? Well, technically speaking, there is no such thing as a Christian business. A business is an abstract. It does not exist outside of the person or the people that run it. And so the business cannot, for instance, go to church. It can't give its life to Christ. It can't preach the gospel. But you and I who run the businesses, right, can then qualify the businesses as Christian businesses to the degree that how we conduct ourselves, how we run our transactions, how we grow our businesses, how we interact with people, right, can then position the company to be one that is seen to glorify God. You know, Colossians 3:23 says that whatever you do, do your work heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men. So the same way when you run your business, you run it as unto the Lord and not unto men. And that is what then qualifies it as a Christian business. You know what? You can't actually play both sides of the divide when it comes to God. So don't buy this lie that, you can't mix your business and Christianity. I promise you, for those of us that believe in the judgment on the last day, that God is not going to ask you to put your business aside and come and be judged based on how many times you went to church and how kind you were to people and all that. You are literally, going to be judged for your life 360 if you are a business person. And to be fair, the way work is now, most of us spend the greater part of our lives at work, and we may not be retiring anytime soon. Therefore, some of us may literally die at our work. So I promise you that this is a place where you either get it right with God or you don't. Okay, so you are the Christian, not your business. But in working out your Christian principles within the ambit of your business, you then position your business to be recognized as one that is founded and transacted based on Christian principles. The second thing I want to share with you has to do with the issues of ethics, honesty, and integrity. You know what? A lot of the things that we call core values in our businesses today, I actually believe are simply the secular world's adaptation of the principles of God. And we don't have to look too far into the Bible to see this. For instance, when we talk about something like integrity, the Bible tells us in Proverbs 16 and verse 8 that better a little gained with righteousness than much gained with injustice. When we talk about something like honesty, for instance, it talks about the fact in Luke 16 and verse 10 that whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with little will also be dishonest with much. Now, this also speaks to the issue of stewardship of whatever resources your business has, by virtue of the things that you do. When we discuss hard work as a core value, in Proverbs 13 and 11, for instance, it says that wealth gotten by vanity shall diminish, but he that gathers by labor shall increase. And we see that diligent pursuit of growth is what makes for long-term sustainable businesses rather than those that are just a flash in the pan based on some quick dishonest ventures. So there is a demand for those of us who carry a spiritual mandate into the marketplace to be honest in all our dealings with our customers, with our staff, with our colleagues, with our workers. And you know what? The Bible tells us that the devil is the father of lies. So if we are dishonest, actually we are lying in our business, and then we can't then be claiming the title of Christian business. Is actually we are dancing to the tunes of a very different master. When it comes to our customers, for instance, we can't cut corners, we can't cheat them, even if they don't know about it. In Leviticus 19 and verse 14, it says, for instance, do not put a stumbling block before the blind. I mean, they're already blind, they may not know, but don't take advantage unduly of your customers. That's an example of, working a God principle within your business. And the truth is that for those of us in the marketplace, many times we're going to have people or situations that are dressed as opportunities that come to us, but what they're actually doing is trying to pull us away and cause us to compromise on our biblical principles. So we always have to be sure to stand on the side of what is right, no matter what it may cost us. When you talk about honesty and integrity in business, for instance, these are actually acts of worship and honor to God. Okay. For instance, let's also talk about under ethics, honesty, and integrity, issues around governance and compliance. Do you know there's some people that keep two sets of accounting records? They have the real transactions of the business, and they have other documents they pull out when it comes to dealing with regulators, the tax authorities, and the like. But the Bible tells us actually in Deuteronomy 25 from 13 to 15, it says, do not have two different weights in your bag, one heavy and one light. Do not have two different measures in your house, one large and one small. You must have accurate and honest weights and measures so that you may live long in the land your God is giving to you. This is the thing, that in business, you cannot have two sets of data and then be claiming that you're a Christian business or that God is at the center of your business. When it comes to the issue of paying taxes, we also hear a lot of people say things about, oh, we don't pay our taxes, or we don't pay full taxes because the government doesn't do this, the government doesn't do that. When you are keeping God in the center of your business, you actually are guided by scriptures such as Mark 12 from verse 16 to 17, where Jesus told them categorically, he said, whose face is on the money, whose inscription is on it? And they answered him, they said, it's for Caesar. So he said to them, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. And that's what God expects of us, not that we should be cutting corners and claiming that we are Christian businesses. Those kinds of things do not glorify him. The third thing that I want to share with you today is this, that you have to recognize your people as part of your assignment. Listen, if you recognize that your business is a platform where you can glorify God and that you're actually on a kingdom assignment through your business, then your people are part of this kingdom assignment, right from allowing God to help you build your teams and show you how to manage your teams. I mean, I have hired people that I regretted hiring, and I realized that it's because I didn't pay attention to that niggling voice of the Holy Spirit at the point I signed off on, getting them in. Something was telling me it was not right, and I went ahead and I did that. So your people are actually a kingdom assignment, okay? And it's important then to pay attention to how well do you treat your people, because the Bible tells us that we should love our neighbors as ourselves. And as a business person, one of the easiest places to, demonstrate this love is through your staff. Okay, and when you look at businesses, one of the most difficult parts for us as business people is actually dealing with employee issues, with personnel issues. So when you look at the scripture, it tells us things, for instance, like in Jeremiah 22 and verse 13, it says, woe to him that builds his palace by unrighteousness, his upper rooms by injustice, making his own people work for nothing, not paying them for their labor. I mean, why would you have people who work for you and you don't want to pay them? You recognize they're doing work and you refuse to pay them, even where the business can afford it. Some people delay salaries unduly or divert salaries to do personal things for themselves. That does not glorify God. That is not an example of putting God in the center of your business. In Ephesians 6 and verse 9, it says, and masters, treat your slaves the same way. Do not threaten them, since you know that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and there is no favoritism with him. So if we want to be like God in the marketplace, in the businesses that we run, there should be no favoritism. We should treat our people well. Some employers like to threaten their staff, always keep them on their toes in the place of fear and anxiety that they may lose their job sooner than later. That does not glorify God in any way. All right? In Colossians 4 and verse 1, it says, for instance, masters, provide your slaves with what is right and fair, because you know that you also have a master that is in heaven. You know what? I was thinking about this and I thought part of what is right and fair is training and developing people. Some employers refuse to do that for their own selfish reasons because they say if we train them, they will leave us. But you know what? God is a builder of men. Therefore, if you want to put God in the center of your business, it must be that your own outlook and philosophy concerning your people is that you will train them, you will develop them, and whatever happens, whether they leave you well or they don't, which happens a lot of the time or some of the time, it should be that whoever leaves you has added capacity and is better for having been with you for however long they were there. So my friends, if you are running a business that you want to glorify God, let me remind you this, that you are the Christian and you must work the Christian principles. The work that you do is part of who you are. You can't compartmentalize how you conduct yourself in business and how you conduct yourself as holier than thou in church or at home. God expects you to do a 360 that gives him glory by working your business based on his principles and giving him glory in the process. I hope this was useful to you. Next time I'll be back with another set of tips around how you can keep God in the center of your business. Take care.